From the field to the pits of fucking hell, I'm Moon 3PO, and this is my co-host Bro Pio with the episode of Cardboard Dugout. It's been a minute. Obviously, you can tell by the tone of my voice here and tell by the title. Didn't want to come back here with this episode, but we're here. We're alive. Again, you tell by the title, Rafael Devers officially traded to the San Francisco Giants. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about his Topps card and talk about where we've been. Obviously, if you guys have been tuning into the feed, you guys would know that it's been different for a little bit. I think our last episode was that our prediction episode? I think together.
Probably. It's probably the had to have been the prediction episode.
I know.
Or like our season predictions.
Yeah, you did. You
Probably.
came in for the season predictions, and then I think I did like 2 episodes like solo by myself. So that sounds accurate. I remember I talked about Topps Tribute. I talked about some Jackson Merrill stuff. So yeah, that sounds accurate. So it's been a minute, but before we get into
the good old controversy of his auto. I remember now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was like the last episode I did, and then obviously went off to a different tangent. So we'll talk all about that here. But before we get into it, Bro Pio, how you doing? I feel like this is like the appropriate time. Usually I know how you're doing, but I feel like this is more the appropriate time to ask you how you're doing.
It's been a wild 24 hours, I would say, probably. Still in disbelief. Remember when I woke up this morning, I was like, there's no way that was fucking real. It kind of gave me like the same vibes of like when Bogarts signed with San Diego, like at 2:00 in the fucking morning our time. When I woke up, I'm like, nah, that can't be real. And yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. When I was watching, obviously we're gonna probably get into where we've been, but I was watching Monday Night Raw, and we obviously saw the return of a certain somebody. And I just was like, yeah, I'm throwing my feet up in the air. I looked at my wife, and I was like, dude, I need a new fucking hobby. I was like, the two things that I like to do the most is baseball and wrestling, and they're both pissing me the fuck off. And so, yeah, that's been my night.
I think I put a tweet out. I think I put a post saying, well, these exact words that I put out on Twitter. I might have misspelled it. I spoke in anger. For fuck's sake, Goldberg is back. This day just keeps getting worse.
Oh yeah, my tweets last night were wild too. Those were the tweets of a man who had a couple of libations and was very angry.
So if you guys if you guys follow us on Twitter, you guys know you get the good tweets like that, good posts like that. So make sure you're following us at Moon3PO and at Dad Who Collects. But obviously, before we cover the biggest story in all of baseball and probably all of sports right now, what I kind of want to talk about here, where we've been, where we're at, content wise, things of that nature. So where we've been, obviously, we haven't been gone. We've been posting. It's not like we've been absent and just ghosted everybody and like not doing stuff and things of that nature. We have been doing stuff. It's just been something completely different. Obviously, if you guys were following the feed for quite some time, you guys know that we started an extension of Cardboard Dugout, which was the WWE card section and WWE wrestling card podcast, that being the Collecting the 1, 2, 3, which in my eyes took off a lot faster than I didn't think it would. I thought it would be, something where we, throw an episode here and there, every once in a while. And obviously baseball will primarily take over that as we head into baseball season, things of that nature. But the wrestling card stuff this took off. I don't know if it was a combination of the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania season, things of that nature. And obviously, if you guys are not a wrestling fan, obviously you're like Nick Moon, like what the fuck are you talking about? Just bear with me here. We'll get to Rafi in a little bit. But yeah, it just started kind of just blowing up, and I think like the following count was getting higher. We had some interviews, we had some guests on. You guys follow me on Whatnot, like we do WWE card singles now. So obviously all of my attention and your attention as well has been put into that. So obviously I'm going to put my full effort into what I know is blowing up and what's, people are gravitating towards. All of my TikTok followers now, I think we're pushing like over 1,200. A lot of that now is wrestling cards. So I, have to gravitate to that audience a little bit. Not saying we're completely done here on as far as of Cardboard Dugout. Who fucking knows? Maybe that's the state of this now. Yeah, hey, I was say who fucking knows? Excuse the French. You're gonna get a lot of F-bombs, so explicit here. Sorry, children. Yeah, who fucking knows? This might be the last episode here. You'll probably see us maybe in October when we do our baseball prediction if the Red Sox are there or not. At this point, I don't even think they will be. But yeah, that's where we've been. if you guys again follow us, it's just been primarily wrestling card stuff. So I apologize. I know I sound like a hypocrite. If you go back and listen to the old stuff, I would say like, oh, like it's not going anywhere. We'll still be here. We'll still talk baseball. I'm like CM Punk saying he wouldn't wrestle in Saudi Arabia. I totally dissed the baseball stuff, and he I still we're still watching. Obviously, we're 162 guys. If you, obviously we talked about that too. You know, we ride and die this stuff. You know, we're still buying all the cards. We're still buying Bowman's. I know you ripped into Series 2 as well. We have the Red Sox game on
Ripping
us.
way too much Series 2 over here.
Yeah, dude, you ripped a lot, my guy. You ripped a lot. We're in the West Coast right now, so we're doing this while simultaneously watching the Seattle Mariners and Red Sox game. So we're still watching, we're still talking about it, but to ourselves, but just not putting it out in content format. So if you guys are upset about it or looking for the baseball card content, I definitely do apologize. That's just where we've been. Don't know you have anything to add to that, bro Pio. I know you know, obviously you still post your stuff on the IG, you still post your baseball cards. Obviously you ripped it to Series 2. Don't know if I missed anything. Again, this episode's gonna be a full rambling session, so if I missed anything, I apologize.
Nah, I think you pretty much hit it on the put the nail in the coffin. Pretty much where we've been at. Obviously I had been missing too because of course, me and my wife had another baby. Baby number 2 came late March, so I was away, of course, with that. Um, but yeah, no, I think you pretty much hit everything. Baseball's just kind of been. Also, it didn't help that the fucking Sox have been, been a crap, playing like crap. So who wants to come on here and talk about them for about it? So this is kind of where it's at. And then I think even like that, like release baseball set release wise, there hasn't been like too much, so there's nothing really like to talk about besides like obviously the flagship with Series 1, Series 2, stuff like that. Um, we had a couple of other big higher end sets, but there hasn't really been much to talk about. So yeah, wrestling
Yeah,
just was as hot. It's taken over.
yeah. I guess my final thought I'll put into that too is, obviously there's a lot of baseball and baseball card podcasts out there, so you can get that information, in other formats. With wrestling, it's such like a small little niche, and I feel like if I could be that small little percentage of that niche, obviously that's going to help us out and help support the content and bring out opportunities for us, which it has already. So just the final thought on that. But yeah, again, that's where we've been. Apologize if you guys have been looking for the baseball stuff. Definitely do apologize. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you don't. I don't know. Time will tell. But let's talk about it. Rafael Devers traded to the San Francisco Giants. Oh my god, I still can't believe I'm saying that. It feels weird to be saying that. I know obviously yesterday we discussed, getting an emergency pod in, talking about it, but I think it was best in our both interest. Obviously, you for different reasons and your libations, but for me, was like, okay, let's just let it simmer. Let's see what comes out. We knew at the time that they were going to do a press conference via Zoom, which we'll talk about that later. And we knew, some things had to be made official, who was involved as far as the players, things of that nature. And obviously more quotes are still coming out. They were probably going to still get more quotes tomorrow because I believe Rafael Devers recording this on Monday night. Don't know. This might be out Tuesday or Wednesday, depending how fast it might be able to upload or how fast we're able to process it. But I know Rafael Devers has his press conference tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure the way that dude's been talking recently, I'm pretty sure he has a lot to say. Potentially, who knows? So maybe we'll do a follow up, or maybe we'll get follow ups there on TikTok where we're I did make a video about it today. But yeah, again, Rafael Devers traded to the San Francisco Giants. We kind of hinted here a little bit, but as we read the headline, I know obviously we talked. I called you immediately, but what was the first initial reactions to seeing that headline and seeing that tweet of him moving to getting traded to the Giants?
At first, I thought it was fake. I thought because I think when I got the alert through the Discord group, and I got like some alert, and it just said Red Sox trade, and I was like, who the hell did they trade? I mean, the big thing is I clicked on it, and then like I guess like the responses were coming in too quick that I didn't see the name, and everybody was just like, no, like it may be attacked or something like that, blah blah. So like the first name that popped in my head was probably Jaron Duran. I know there've been a lot of like rumblings about like Jaron Duran possibly getting traded. There was that whole trade scenario or hypothetical trade that he was going to get traded for Chris Sale. I'm like, please do not do that. I cannot do this. Please, no. So Jaron's name popped into my head first. So then when I finally was able to scroll up, and it didn't say the name off the link. So when I clicked the link, it took me to that reporter, and I don't have his account name on me right now, but um, it took me to his, and it says breaking like Devers traded to the Giants, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I was like that can't be right. I was like, this guy has to be hacked, and I think I even retweeted it. I was like, what? And like nothing came about it. Like, and then I was like, I just kept refreshing the feed, and it didn't see nothing else. And then like slowly, like other reporters or other beat writers started reporting it, and I was like, no fucking way, this is real. This cannot be real. Um, and I was freaking out the wife. She's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "Some shit's going down. Like, hold on." And then I think that's when you FaceTime me, and then we still weren't sure. And I was like, "Dude, is this real?" And you had just got off your whatnot stream. Um, and then the next thing you know, you get the tweet from Jeff Passan, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's legit. Once you get the Jeff Passan tweet, it's fucking legit. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't believe that it got to that point. That I guess we'll obviously talk about a little bit more about this so-called alignment that was unfathomable and unfixable, according to those fuckheads up there. But yeah, I mean that's where we're at. I couldn't believe it got to where we're at now. This is crazy.
Yeah, I just ended the whatnot stream. I think we ended it like at 6:30, 5:30 around that time. It was around that time CST. Yeah, sounds about right. I started at 3 and got off like around 5. Usually I go for about like 2.5 hours, depending on how the movement is with the cards in the chat. So yeah, I went about
Yeah, you
5.
went a little longer yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was a little bit longer. Just we had a lot more singles and things were kind of moving. So why not? So yeah, got off the stream. Packed a couple of them, and then we were getting ready to go out for dinner, and then yeah, my phone just like starts like blowing up with the Discord alerts. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And then see the same thing where the Discord channel that we're in, it just says at Red Sox, and it's under the transactions tab. So I'm like,
Mhm.
what did they do? Like, did they trade for like another like slap dick arm, like another just, like bullpen arm, or like those stupid minor league deals where like they sign somebody and they option them down to AAA? I thought it was kind of one of those deals. So what's going on? And then I walk into the kitchen, and then I look at my phone, and I feel like this trade is gonna go down as like, where were you when this happened? I was looking at my phone, and I was like, what the fuck? And then like I said it like twice. And usually when I cuss like that in public, or not in public, but like in my home, um, Mrs. here, Mrs. Moon 3PO, she's like, what happened? And I was just silent for like 2-3 minutes. Like I didn't respond. And I said it again. I was like, what the fuck? And then I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, Rafael Devers got traded. And then she looks at me. She's like, what? And then I was like, he just got traded to the Giants. And I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, dude, there's no way that's real. Like, there's absolutely no way. And then I keep scrolling, and then yeah, when Jeff Passan puts the bomb out and puts the tweet out, that's when you knew that it was legitimate. At that time, we knew it was only for, I think his name's what, Kyle Harrison? Is that his name? Kyle Harrison, or what the fuck's his name?
Yeah, I think so. And Jordan Hicks.
Jordan Hicks, James Tibbs, and some guy named Jose Bayo. I think it's like a single A arm, something of those lines. And then I remember we first saw the two names, and I left for dinner, and we were still chatting on through text, and then you sent. I know we were talking about like, man, based on those two names, like I know for a fact that the Giants are taking all of that contract. Like the fact that we didn't get like a Logan Webb, like a Bryce Eldridge, guys like that. Like I just knew, like oh my god, it's Mookie again. It's Mookie 2.0, where the Dodgers are taking out the full contract. In that case, they obviously they took on David Price, but it was like that again, and I was like, oh my god, like it's like this again. And then obviously we get the other names here involved in, and I was just like, oh my god, like I really could not believe what I was reading. And it's crazier too that the timing of it. One, the Red Sox just swept the New York Yankees. They just swept the New York Yankees. You got one game over 500, and then you're within a playoff spot. I believe now we're like a half game out. If we beat the Mariners today, I think we're tied essentially for the third wild card spot. So this essentially is a big series. And then, and at the end of the week, on the weekend, we're going to San Francisco. We're going to see him. That's the world's wildest part. I'm like, dude, this is the West Coast trip. We go and play San Francisco for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday game. And knowing our gamble, like the dude's gonna be freaking Barry Bonds 2.0 and be hitting freaking balls to McCovey Avenue, knowing our freaking luck. So it was just mind boggling. And obviously Red Sox Twitter was blowing up. I had to sit through and lay down watching freaking Rafael Devers edits on TikTok. It was absolutely a brutal night. I could not believe I stayed up to 2 o'clock in the morning last night, and like I don't think. And you're older than me. I don't know if there's a Red Sox trade for you that does it. I would say maybe the Lester and Cespedes for me at my earliest age. I would say maybe that's it. But
Yeah, I'd probably be Lester for me too, because I know a lot of people were comparing it to like the Nomar trade, which is back in '04. Like, I mean, for me, like I didn't follow the Red Sox like the way we do now, obviously. And back then there's no Twitter, Facebook, none of this stuff. Like there was no MLB Network, if I'm not mistaken. So like your best chance of catching the Sox are probably like on ESPN, stuff like that. Um, so like that trade doesn't really resonate to me. So, but yeah, it's the one that comes to mind is Lester, obviously, and then if you want to after that, it's going to be Mookie. Those are like the two biggest trades you can really think about. But yeah, this one just felt, I don't know, man. This one hit me right in the gut. Like it just made my stomach hurt, and I mean, we've been obviously we ride and die with the team, but like we've seen him come up since 17 when he first got here. I remember that home run off Chapman in New York, like, and obviously we went to a couple playoff games against the Astros. Like we were there in 18. Like and actually it's funny. I'm probably gonna post it tomorrow. But I have that little clip saved on my phone when Rafi, I think it was probably like in the first few innings when he got that single or double off of Verlander and brought in like a run or two. We're
yeah,
like, yeah, scoops, and I was like yelling like, how many scoops is that? And I'll never forget the confused man behind me, like, what the hell is this guy talking about scoops? So, like, I don't know. He's just it sucks that he's gone. And I legit, I had even texted you that I was so close to buying his City Connect jersey, and I was like, dude, like, I would have been. I mean, I probably still would have kept it, but I know that was like a big commotion too. Or like some dads got like
some guys got.
Raphael
I saw a
jersey
TikTok of
gears,
a dad getting
jerseys. Yeah.
the T-shirt, the City Connect T-shirt.
Oh yeah, he was like, he just got traded. So yeah, I mean, and I've never seen a faster sale. Like there's two things I haven't seen this quick. Like obviously the way the Fanatics and MLB like price last his jersey, it was like 60. It was like $100 off. It was like, you could have bought a jersey for $60. And I've also never seen a trade get announced that quick, like to where like the team accounts tweeted out. Like it was like
Yeah,
within hours that got officially announced. Like
yeah.
usually it's like a day or two because they got to go through all the medicals and stuff like that. So this was like done in secret hush hush, like no, like had to be like little to no people that have known about this because I've never seen something go down that quick.
Yeah, yeah. These are types of things where it gets reported the day of, and then it gets made official the next day, and then like on a random off day or like in the middle of the morning or afternoon, that's when we get like the press conference, and not on a 7 p.m. CST, and via a Zoom call, at least for the Red Sox. I'm pretty sure the Giants will have something in person for Rafi, do the jersey swap or whatever. But you bring up an interesting point with Mookie, and I kind of want to raise. Maybe we may differ here. Which one was more shocking for you, Devers or Mookie, or like which one hit a little bit more? I guess is the exact question I should ask, because I think with Mookie, it was one of those things where we knew it was going to happen. Like we knew it was coming. Like we knew they weren't going to sign him. We gave him an offer. And I hate going back to talking about Mookie again. I hate going back to it just because it's old news. It's been like, what, 5 years now at this point, 5 or 6 years at this point. But we knew Mookie. We gave him a deal. He didn't accept it. We bring in Heim, and it was reported for how long as it was that he was going, like he was brought in to move Mookie and like to get under payroll. So with the Mookie stuff, it was more of like we knew it was going to happen. It just sucked seeing it. And again, going back to the return that we got Jeter Downs, Connor Wong, and who the fuck else did we get? We got a 3-player trade, right? Who else did we get? Connor
Oh,
Wong.
Verdugo.
Oh yeah, Verdugo. That's how atrocious that was. I don't remember. Like, who the hell was the
Yeah.
other guy that was involved? So Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. One is not even with our system anymore. One's arguably two of them are not in our system anymore, and one's arguably the worst offensive baseball player in all of the league right now. The dude has no RBIs, and we're in the middle of the summer here. Where dog days of summer are approaching. Dude has no RBIs.
Oh, we're doing the summer.
Dude, that is atrocious. But to go back to the original question, what was what was the more shocking and what hurt more, the Mookie Betts trade or the Rafael Devers?
Yeah, I think it's the Devers one, just because obviously they already had made that big financial commitment to him. Like they had him for 10 years. They were only like a year and a half into that extension, and he's already gone. Yeah, you bring up the Mookie one. Like obviously, we kind of felt like it was like you said, it was coming that they weren't going to resign him, so they had to trade him, which they didn't have to. That they didn't lowball him from the beginning. They made a very generous offer. I don't like. I feel like it could have gone differently, but I don't know. It's probably a story for another day. But yeah, um, essentially, this is like that's the start of the. You can probably put your your little marker there. This when this downfall started was probably the trade of Mookie. Um, but yeah, if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably pick the Bogarts, just like I said, just because they already had signed him, and like this literally came out of nowhere, and this could have been avoided if had they just been um, honest with them, communicated with them. Like I don't understand how you don't communicate with your top player. Like it's mind blowing. Like that he was not a part of the talks that they're having with who they want to bring in and stuff like that. Like I don't know. Like was he part of like the Soto discussions when they? I don't even remember. Like I
I
know
don't
there
know.
had to have been some players in the interviews with them, but I can't remember. Um, but yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, and then you bring up some good points there and lead up to a good leeway here of what led to this and how we got here. So obviously we talked about this too on the podcast when the whole I play third, like I don't like I that's my position, like I play third, and this is where essentially where all of this kind of stems from, and we'll talk about the interview with the press conference with Craig Breslow and Sam Kennedy, because they did talk about that a little bit. Uh, but this is essentially where this whole issue stems from, and I talked about it in my brief like 4 or 5 minute TikTok that I made, was like all this could have been avoided if he just went and was just honest with him. From the reports that we read and from everything that was communicated, where throughout the offseason they told like Devers, like, no, it's not true. Like you're our third baseman. If we do bring him on, he's gonna play second base. You're our third baseman, you're a guy. Like this is why we brought you on, this is why you're here. Like you're primarily our third baseman. Um Bregman signs late of February, and then I think I put in the TikTok that I made that I think Bregman took like what, like I think there's one clip of him turning double plays at second base, and that was it. After that, he was taking grounders at third. He was taking grounders at third with Rafi. Um, and
Yeah.
from there, the whole time, like nope, like he's like Rafi's our third baseman, he's our guy. And then 2 weeks later, 2 weeks into spring training, like no, like he's gonna be our DH, and he doesn't want to do it for to this day. Like I get it, I understand it. He was blindsided by it. I will get 100%. But there's no denying that Devers is not the best defensive third baseman out there. And when you get a Gold Glove potential in Bregman, I know his defense has been a little bit down this year, but he had just won a Gold Glove this last previous season. So obviously there is an upgrade there. But obviously that communication does not bode well. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's like pulling teeth to go and have him go play and hit primarily at DH. And I talked about it too in the again reference to the TikTok, was like people forget too. I don't think people talk about it a lot. Was that yes, he was dealing with the Soder injury, but the dude took forever to play spring training games. Like the dude he got into like what, the last week of the season of spring training games, and then obviously he had the atrocious start to start the year. So the dude like was like taking his sweet ass time. And I remember I think they even asked Cora too, he's like, when's he gonna come in? He's like, oh, like whenever he's ready, like whenever he tells me that he's ready. And like I think that was like Devers' like way of like shutting up the organization. Like, all right, you want me to go hit and just DH? Like I'm gonna take my sweet ass time to do that. So that happens. That goes throughout the year, leading up to June. He obviously gets off to the atrocious start. Get what, like 0 for like 27 with like 15 strikeouts, something crazy like that. Uh, then finally starts breaking through, finally starts hitting. And then like, all right, like it's looking good. It's starting to come along. And then Tristan Casas gets hurt. Tristan Casas knee explodes essentially. He's out for the rest of the year. And then they go ask Rafi, hey, can you play first for us? And then once again, says no. And then he has the very famous press conference where he's like, I don't know what this GM's problem is with me. Like they told me I'm a DH. They told me to put my glove away. And like he's like, I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm not going to go and play first base. And then it got so bad that ownership that John Henry was Tom Werner on there? I think he was, right?
I don't remember. I just remember hearing that John Henry flew out. I don't know if Tom Warner
Or
was there.
was it just the big two, John Henry, Kennedy, and obviously Breslow? Uh, Regardless, the big dog.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was those big three. I don't know if Warner was there. I haven't seen that dude in a hot minute. But yeah, I'm not thinking about it now. Dude, where the hell is Tom Warner? Last time I heard about his dumbass, he was talking about the full throttle stuff and how he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." Dude, where the hell has that guy been? I don't
I
know.
think that's the last. I don't think he's as active as he was before. Like I don't know what he's up to. Somebody put out a missing person page for fucking Tom
Where's
Warner.
Tom Warner? Regardless, those three go out. They go out and fly to Kansas City to go and talk to him. To this day, we still don't know the details of how that convo went. I think Breslow said it was like an honest communication. And I was thinking about this too. I don't know if you caught this in the doc, and again, this is like an open freaking therapy session. But like, I think this tension has been here for like a long time with Devers and Brett. Like, this is just not something that started. If you go back to the Netflix doc last year, Devers was like, "Oh, like we're a good team, but I feel like we didn't do enough. Like the front office didn't do too much." And then there's a small little clip in that Netflix documentary where it's Cora, Devers, and Breslow. They're sitting in that little office, and Breslow like sits down with him. He's like, "Hey, like I want to make sure like we're on the same page, or like hey, like I want to be honest with you, or like I want you to be honest with me." So like you can tell that this communication issues have been going on for at least a year and a half now. This is not just something that just brewed up since spring. I don't know if you ever caught on to that, but maybe I'll send it to you, or maybe if you know what I'm talking about. It's a
Yeah,
small.
you're gonna have to send me that clip.
Yeah, I'll send you the
I
clip.
fucking binged the shit out of that, so I
Yeah,
may have missed
I'll
it.
send it to you. It's real tiny, real tiny.
That's
So yeah,
interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Had again, like you said, had they just been like honest with him, like, and I think I like letting them know, like, hey, we're gonna bring Bregman in, like, and you can even just like you can even tell him like, hey, possibly might play third base, possibly might take second base, like I don't know. I don't see how he didn't know, and how you don't tell your franchise player like, hey, we're gonna bring this guy in. Like, it's just wild to me. And I know that also the rift, because I don't remember when exactly it happened. I don't know if it was during spring training where I think where he first got moved, and he maybe had been during the whole I play third base comments, where I think they even asked like Cora about it, and because apparently Devers was promised third base like his entire like for the remainder of that contract. And Cora was essentially like, "Oh, like that was the old regime who made those promises. Like it's not the current regime that's here." Um, so essentially, you're paying like 300 plus for a DH, and unless you're fucking Shohei Ohtani, like this, that's just not unheard of. So I don't know if and I'll always go back to the money thing. Like I'm more than sure that a lot of it had to do with the money. Like I think that's why they jumped on the offer so quickly for the Giants, because I don't believe that they shopped him around. Like I have seen no other reports from any other like team execs or anything like that saying that, oh yeah, we had an offer for Devers too, or like stuff like that. It just seems like it was just real hush hush. And I also don't know if it's because like Andrew Bailey obviously was down there in San Francisco, so he kind of has an idea of like of their pitching prospects and stuff like that. So I don't know if that also played into it, where him and Breslow can kind of pick and choose like what prospects they want and stuff like that. But yeah, that whole comment where they're like, that was promised by the old regime or in the new regime here, like that, I probably had to have irked him too. So, yeah, I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, I think it also plays into the fact that I mean, it's a small little trade. Don't get me wrong, but obviously Craig Breslow had already dealt with the Giants before for Blake Sabal, or how you say his last name. That dude was a terrible catcher. But but obviously that connection was there. And I don't know if it's a former player thing too as well. Obviously, Craig Breslow and Buster Posey, former players, so like maybe that's easy to work with. I don't know. That wasn't really discussed there in the press conference, but uh, yeah, I don't want to jump ahead to the press conference just yet. But then it also leads to what that's why I thought that there's two quotes that pissed me off at Sam Kennedy said. And we'll talk about one of them here in a little bit. But one of them was where like they asked him that question, and one thing I did like about and very slim pickings of what I like about Craig Breslow right now. But one thing that I did respect at least, or like take out of his interview, was that he did put some of the blame on him. He was like, yeah, like maybe I should have done something a little bit better. Like it was on my shoulders where I should have communicated it better. I don't know the exact quote that he said, but he said like, oh, like I'll think about that every day. Or like maybe I could have done something better or talk about it better, things like that. So I did respect out of Craig Breslow at least. Like at least he's honest, like, hey, like yeah, like I didn't do my job as a communicator to convey the message of what we were trying to do here. But the part that pissed me off of that comment was that then Sam Kennedy comes in. He's like, well, also I want to put in here that we didn't know we were going to sign Bregman to the last day of February. Like that is such bullshit. Like yes, that y'all came in with a higher deal and he agreed to it right away because Bregman has acknowledged that he thought he was going to become a Detroit Tiger. He thought he was going to be in Detroit. But it's such the part I call bullshit is that you knew you had intentions again to sign him. That was your goal. You played back and forth with him for so like I don't know how long, and you just weren't matching up to the money. And then you gave him a ridiculous offer. Now I don't want to say ridiculous offer, but you gave him an offer you just couldn't pass up. Which obviously now like that man has so much power in his hands right now, where like he can opt out and just fuck up everything. Like the power that dude has right now is unbelievable. Do I think he's gonna do it? I don't know. Obviously, I think he has real close ties there, obviously with Cora. And one thing I am taking away from this as we watch these Red Sox games is that he's like real in tune with the young guys. He's been in tune with them since spring training, but like his locker is between Roman Anthony. Every time they cut to the dugout, he's always with Roman or he's always with Marcelo. So obviously his ties are there. And then Craig Breslow did talk about the leadership from Bregman. I think he is in Seattle, so he did show up in Seattle. And I think Jeremiah Webster did bring that up to him that Bregman in the short time has shown the leadership maybe that they were looking for Rafi that he didn't emphasize. And one thing I wanted to highlight before we talk about the interview was that even after all the debacle of Casa stuff, still says no to playing first base. And then Bregman goes down with a quad injury. And I got to the point where like he like I don't the ownership and Craig Breslow acknowledged today that they didn't even ask him to go play third. Like he said no. Like they're like no, like we didn't go and ask him because they probably already knew the freaking answer. They gave a bullshit answer like no, we have different alignments that we thought would help the team, but I think it all was our best interests, or like I think there was better suited for the team. That I think honestly your best suit here was to have Devers at third. But they didn't even ask him. And I think it honestly came to the point where, like, this dude's going to say no. Like, why are we going to bother asking and piss him off even more? So, yeah, that was, I don't know. It led to all this. You couldn't even talk to him. I don't know if you have any final thoughts as far as, like, the whole, like, well, that's before we get to the press conference. But, yeah, it was just absolute mind-boggling that.
Yeah, they keep on talking about like this. The word of the interview was fucking alignment.
Alignment.
They keep on. Sam Kennedy kept on throwing it. He was pissing me off the most, dude. I'm like, dude, just answer the fucking question. I think somebody had asked what did they ask him? Oh, they asked him, I guess, because about Rafi's like leadership, because they keep on saying that his leader or like certain aspects that they wanted from him didn't align with what they wanted, and so I think it might have been Chef Passon who asked him. Like he's like, well, what was it? And he's like, well, like we have these alignments and blah blah blah. And it's just like this dude wasn't fucking. He was just like dancing around the question. I was like, dude, just shut up. You're making me angry. But I think I saw like one of the reports that might have been like one of like their like I guess the Sox's like final straw with Devers is the whole like obviously when they brought up the big three, I guess they didn't like that Cora had to bench some of the guys because of the way like the roster is currently structured, that obviously Devers had to be at the DH, so they couldn't rotate guys in there. And then with a lot of like the lefty righties, they have given a lot of time to Toro and Romy. So some of the Marcelo and Roman had to sit, some of the games over the weekend against the Yankees, and I don't know if that maybe probably irked them. So I don't know. And like you mentioned too, I guess they have to do I would feel like they have to re-sign Bregman, because if he opt outs and he leaves, like they're gonna like they did all this essentially for nothing. Like, um, but I guess I don't know. I guess the way they see Bregman with the rookies, I guess that's what they maybe what they wanted from Devers, and I guess it just never was. Like you mentioned, like every time we see him in the dugout, he's talking with Roman or Marcelo, Christian, stuff like that. He's always on the top of the dugout, and a lot of times when you would cut to Devers, like he was just there sitting on the cooler, like just chilling. So I don't know if they. I think that they don't. I think also from a report that I saw that they didn't want like the new guys or the rookies to, I guess, catch that kind of fever, I guess you could say, or that kind of mood. They want somebody who's going to be more, I guess, like Bregman, I guess, in a sense. I don't know. But yeah, no, they made a big deal that they moved. I think they put Roman's locker between Jaron and Bregman's, right? If I'm not
Jordan
mistaken.
Bregans, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously these guys aren't going nowhere. Like they're here, and they're here to stay. So yeah, they're gonna be battling out. I'm curious to see if like I don't know if they pulled the trigger on this trade too, because I don't know if maybe Bregman's gonna be back sooner than later. I don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's what we heard last. We heard of Bregman is that the quad is I forgot the word. They use a weird ass word to as far as the recovery, but I know he was running the outfield, I think, during the Yankee series, so I think he is a little bit closer than expected. And now that the DH role is open, maybe now is a thing where he can DH for a little bit, get him off his feet as far as playing defensively. So slot him in there, have Marcelo at third, TS10 at short, Christian Campbell, who ironically enough is the agent today, at second. Or I know they love David Hamilton, even though the dude hasn't done jack all year. Put him at second base, and obviously have the platoon of Romy and Abraham Toro at first base, which I again highlighted in my short little video. That platoon has been fine, hasn't been anything crazy. But I mean, it's been absolutely fine. And then yeah, it again just overall just mind boggling, and then obviously don't want to spend too much. Obviously, we'll talk about the press conference here, but obviously not going to cover it minute for minute, word for word. I know I talked about one key takeaway as far as what Craig Breslow said, at least as far as like acknowledging the miscommunication on his part, saying that he could have done something better. Again, that's what I did take out of it from him. He didn't give us too much, I should say, because obviously they denied the fact that it was like money tied or anything like that. They did ask him that question, or ask those questions, like, was it a thing where they took all the, like, if they took all the money, like that was it? Because there was a report as well that John Henry actually vetoed a trade. I don't know to who. I didn't see that far into detail, but that supposedly John Henry did veto a trade because it was part of the deal was that the Red Sox were still paying part of the contract for Rafael Devers. So if it's true, it's not. I don't know. That was just a small little report that I saw from that. What else did those robots say? I know they talked about that. I think the second quote, I think from Sam Kennedy that pissed me off the most was, I believe someone asked, I forgot who it was, but someone asked them, like, this is the one time where I actually like Boston meeting, because you could tell they really went at them with these like intense questions. The one that was very, like, I thought was very insightful and very good was like, you talk about winning and you talk about like your culture here, but like your culture this past 5-6 years where you trade away Mookie, you let Mookie Betts, you trade away Mookie, you let Bogarts go to free agency, and now you traded Devers. Like what are you showing to the fans, or like build to the fan boys? And Sam Kennedy put out the stupid ass quote that I thought I heard was like, "Oh, like we're proud of what we built here. You look at our track record, and like you see that we have banners, we have pennants, we have this, and that. We have trophies that some other teams that don't have. Like, dude, you haven't won since 2018. Quit it with the shit. You were there, almost there in 21, but that's all you had. You've been in the last place. How long now you've been in last place? 3 out of the 4 years you've been in last place.
Three out of the 5 years. Yep.
3 out of the 5 years you were in last place, and last year you were 81-81 and finished third place at 500. Whip the fucking do. Like, that's what we're putting our hats on, and old things that we've done. Like that. When I heard that, like, dude, I was wearing my headphones and listening to it. I remember I was like, dude, what the fuck did he just say? And Mrs. Moon Pearl was in here with me. I was all just like, what happened? I was like, this dude just said the most stupidest fucking comment that I've ever heard come out of his damn mouth. And like, I used to like Sam Kennedy. I thought he was probably the more like respectable one, because he was the one that would go and show face and say anything. But man, the last few years has just been idiotic. And then like going back before 2 weeks ago was even saying that, oh, like we see a vision where Devers does take second, like does take rounders at first base. No, the fuck you didn't, because then you traded him away. So the dude is honestly for the
Yeah,
last.
that was the other comment that pissed me off. I think somebody had asked them about like, oh, like what you said a couple weeks ago on Nesson that you see that Devers will whenever we need him, like he'll be ready to go. And they're like, did you fully believe that? And he's like, oh well, alignments were probably weren't in order, and I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, dumbass. Like you shouldn't have said that. Like, yeah, and he admitted it. But yeah, that comment pissed me off, and then the one I just brought up, like you can just tell, like I don't know, like was he not communicating well with the other people too? Like it was just a mess, big old mess.
Yeah, I would think I don't know, and it goes back to like what we briefly talked about with Warner was like the full throttle stuff, like oh yeah, we're gonna go full throttle this and that, and obviously they didn't do shit that year. I'm just scrolling through Twitter and seeing if what other final things that Sam Kennedy said. Obviously, yeah, the good quote here: "We couldn't find an alignment with Rafi. Is just the truth." Let's take a look here. What the hell else did he freaking say? Um, Looking back at it here. I did see a funny thing. People were playing bingo, where like every time they said like something funny or like said something that was like really ironic or like just robotic, people were putting the little stamp there. But yeah, I think that was the most quote here. Oh yeah, a quote here. We'll get a lot. We'll get a lot wrong. Shouldn't you not get it wrong? Shouldn't you find ways to make it right or get it right? Like, dude, like, oh my god, like it was absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
then obviously Craig Breslow's making those ballsy comments where he says that they think that they're gonna get more wins
oh
without
yeah,
Devers. I'm like, dude, that's a ballsy comment to say to
yeah,
to put that out there
yeah. He even
because
he
if
even
you don't,
emphasized it
man,
more in the. I don't know if you saw the clip of Jemai Webster, when he was sitting in the dugout. He even emphasized it even more, like with him gone or like with him being traded, is that they have more roster flexibility, that they can do a little bit more things here and there. Um, they can do different things. They can work the lineup a different way or whatever the case may be. Like it brings more better roster construction. And I was like, I
I mean, what the hell? I mean, what the hell are they gonna do when Yoshida comes back? Like, obviously they don't want him in the fucking outfield. He can't throw. He's gonna be stuck in the DH role unless they're gonna trade him too, or they're gonna trade somebody else. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure he's in. I don't know if is he. I don't even know where he's at. We gotta put a missing person ad for him too. Him and Tom Warner.
I think he was I think the last time I saw him, I think was he at the Yankee series or was he in the last Prio series? I think they said they
I don't
saw
know,
him hitting BP.
dude. I swear the last time I saw him was that little clip of him throwing the ball and like you can tell like he was in pain. I
He's
was
like,
like, oh shit, I guess he really is. Like, yeah.
I
I
saw
was like,
somebody.
damn, what did they do to
I
him?
saw somebody put
Jesus.
they said they put out a fake tweet that saying that they paid him an X amount of dollars to be like, hey, go throw the ball out here and then fake that you're hurt, so we don't have to. So we have different ways to explain why you're not on this roster, in the foreseeable future.
Jeez, man.
But
Oh
yeah,
my god.
because I mean the outfield's already crowded is enough. Like if he plays left field hypothetically, like you're not taking out Jaron Duran. They emphasize that Rafaela is their center fielder. Like they did put that stamp. They brought him out there, which for I don't hate the idea. I've always seen Rafaela as a super utility guy, but it does get a little more complicated that Wilshire is going to be coming back here. They said by this weekend that he will be back, so it does get a little more complicated. But again, they even emphasize that with Devers that DH spot not being open, that they can put Wilshire in the DH. They could put Roman Anthony at DH because he did DH down in Worcester as well. So that is something that they can definitely flex out. But yeah, absolute. I don't know where they go from here. Obviously, they're winning right now 2-0 as we're talking about this. So if it all goes good, we'll still be moving. But and I guess they did also say as well that they do plan on being buyers, that this is not waving the white flag, that they believe in the roster that they have now. And based on the comments that I'm seeing from the team here as well, is like they have kind of talked about that. Like they're not like they said it was a shocker. Don't get me wrong. That Jaron Duran has came out and said it was a shocker. I think Crochet said the same thing, that it was a shock. Trevor Story said the same thing as well. But like, I don't know, man. Like, if things go the way if they tread water a little bit, they make a move here and there. If they do, I don't trust this front office to make any crazy ass moves. I really don't believe in that at this time. But like, if they tread this water, man, like who knows? Like maybe I don't want to believe into this thing where Devers was like this headache, and maybe he was, maybe he is. I don't know. Obviously, I know you kind of talked about it there, the David Ortiz comments and stuff, but like
Yeah,
maybe
that's what I was trying to get at too, because I was even reading because I have a hard time with like when people translate, like, because a Dominican Spanish accent is like very thick and it's kind of hard to understand. So I can always get lost in translation sometimes. So I was showing the wifey like the videos of David Ortiz, and I think he was like on a fucking 4-way Zoom call with like that fucking I don't know who's that Spanish. It wasn't the Pepin guy,
was it
right?
Pepin?
I don't think it was him.
I
I
don't
think it was
remember.
like,
I didn't see the
I
clip.
don't
I just
know.
saw somebody like quote tweet it.
Yeah, it was like him, and then like Manny Ramirez was on the call, and then some other former player, or if he is a former player, I don't know who it was, but like, yeah, it was like it looked like they were on a fucking FaceTime call. And then Ortiz was also like live on Instagram. Let me see if I can pull up some of the tweets real quick, because I was the same way too. I'm like, damn, like I really like I love Devers, and I hope like that was one of the arguments I was having with people too, like in our that Facebook group. I don't know if you saw the text I sent you. I was fighting with some people on the group, and one guy was like, "Oh, like Devers is being a prima donna, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, well, that he should have just like done what he was told to do. And I'm like, I get that point. Like at some point, yeah, maybe you should like do what's best for the team, put your ego aside, and do what's best for the team. But at the same point, like this ownership group like is basically just like lying to you right in front of your face, and they're not including you in the plans. Like if you're there for 10 years, you would think they would include you in their plans. But yeah, like one of the quotes here from David Ortiz, he put, God, where is the one? Yeah, here it is. So yeah, this is from Hector Gomez. From, I guess he's one of the Dominican reporters, I guess, down
Oh
there
yeah,
in
Hector.
Family. But he
Yeah.
put, and quote, "You can't imagine how many times I wrote to Devers trying to give him advice, but unfortunately he has communication problems. He almost never returned my messages, but I don't blame him. He's a good guy, but he definitely needs to improve his communication. He should find an advisor to help him with that." I'm like, fuck. I'm like, if you're, well, the Sox just won. All right, cool.
There you go.
Like, can you imagine like David Ortiz like trying to give you advice and you're just like completely blowing him off? Like, you don't do that. So I was like, oh, that doesn't look good, and I don't think like David Ortiz would essentially lie about that. Um, and then this was another one. It says it was from Ken Rosenthal. David Ortiz, he says, in quote, "I played for the Red Sox for a long time. You think everything with me and the Red Sox was roses and flowers. I went through some tough times also, but I was mature enough to understand and keep things internal. Even in the best families, between best brothers, shit happens. You have to have the maturity to resolve problems and move on." And if you really think about it, if you go like the Red Sox were like basically giving like Ortiz like year to year contracts, like they never really gave him like a full like contract. And like I to think like a legend to a David Ortiz esque, like you're basically giving him year to year contract, like that's crazy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know there's already like rumors of. I guess I think I saw like Buster Posey was saying that Devers could see some field action, but I mean like they got Matt Chapman at third base. Like you're really gonna tell Matt Chapman to get off third base? Like, so I know there's rumors of him already playing first base. Cause I think I don't know who they got rid of over there that wasn't working out. Um, so I don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting to see. Um, I know San Francisco's hyped up because they said I think he automatically goes over there and he's like leading like all their offensive statistics and home runs and RBIs and all that jazz. And they said that, and I think I saw somewhere too that they haven't had a 30 home run guy there since Barry Bonds. I'm like, God damn, dude, that's crazy. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see how this goes, but I don't know. We're gonna have to wait it out to see what happens.
Yeah, the first bomb they hit into Makovey Ave, that's gonna be absolute legendary. Seeing everybody in the boat. I'm pretty sure his first game there in San Francisco. Hopefully it's not against us. Hopefully they're already. Hopefully I don't know if the Giants already are on a homestand. But like I've seen all like the little kayaks and the boats out there. I think that's gonna be a cool little shot. Seeing that little splash. I think they call it the splash zone. I think it's what it's called. Seeing maybe that number tink up a little
The
bit.
McCovey Cove.
Yeah. Seeing that number tink up a little bit Is going to be cool. It's going to be interesting from an offensive standpoint where how it's going to go. Obviously, he plays Pepper with the monster a little bit. Obviously, his last hit with the Red Sox, ironically enough, was a home run over the monster. So it's going to be curious to see how that plays out. Obviously, Oracle Field, Oracle Park is a very bigger stadium, so how it goes, left to left center, obviously pulling the ball, it's going to be very interesting to see. But um, yeah, I feel like we covered almost everything there with Rafi. Yeah, I think that I want to be like my last final thoughts on Rafi is that, I referenced it in my video. Like, I'm not defending Rafi. I think it came to a point where you're making a shit ton of money, and if the best team's interest for you is to play first, or if somebody goes down to play third, like, you need to do it. Like, if the team is asking you to go play those positions, specifically third, where you're familiar with, like, go play third. First base, I can understand. If first base, you need to take a week, 2 weeks. Like, look at Christian Campbell. Like, the dude took a couple of weeks to go and try to learn the position and was gonna play, and then they told him, like, no, like, you're good now. We got it covered. But like, the fact that he was just telling no, and it wasn't for like reasons of underperformance. Like, it wasn't like Tristan Cassis wasn't hitting. Granted, at that time he wasn't, but it wasn't the case of like, hey, he's not hitting, we're sending him down to AAA. We need you to go play first. That wasn't the case. The dude's knee literally exploded, and he's out for the rest of the year, and probably going to be out for the beginning of the year. And though he's already coming out with ridiculous comments saying that he wants to be back by opening day. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Third base, the quad, Bregman goes down. It's not, again, a case of where he's underperforming or he needs to go do something else. It's guys getting hurt. We need flexibility with the roster. You're making a shit ton of money to go do something, and you're straight up just telling them no. It's like, and I think Dave Ortiz said that in the quote, like, yes, so you need to put your ego aside. And there comes a time where, like, if you put this in your personal life, like, if you tell your bosses no, what's going to happen to you? Either you're going to get fired or you're going to get moved somewhere else. That's the nature of it. And that's essentially what this is.
Yeah, that was another one of his quotes. Like, he was saying that like if you go against your employer, like, see what happens. And basically, like, Ortiz was like, I did what I was told, and he's like, and now I have a check forever from the Sox, and they love me there. I was like, well, essentially that is true. So was it an ego thing? I don't know. I also heard like rumors. I think they said it in the press conference too, and I'll probably be my last couple of things I'll probably want to say about this. That I guess like they wanted him to do like charity events, or like they wanted him to do like sponsors and ads and stuff like that. I guess you're the face, like, the perfect way I like to think about it. Like, since we're obviously we trembled into wrestling, like, when you're world champion of the WWE, like, you're expected to do, media tours, press conferences. You got to do, meet and greets. You have to do, like, fucking commercials. Like, that's what's expected of you. So, like, if the Red Sox are going to give you, $300 million plus for over 10 years, like, they're obviously investing in you. So they want you to, put your best foot forward. And then and then after that, I think that there was this report that that Devers just wants to play baseball, and I was like, yeah, I get that too, but like, you're getting paid top dollars, so you may have to show your face a little bit more. And like I said, like, a lot of the times when you would see him in the dugout, he was just at the cooler. You could tell like he was just like not in the right headspace. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I really hope he wasn't the problem. I know people were saying that he was like a cancer to the clubhouse, and I really hope that's not the case. I hope he wasn't a little bad apple, So, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait to see how the season plays out. And I was like, I had been commenting that I was like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I'm done with this team. Like, ever since, like, even like, you can even go back to like the Bogarts trade. Like, that one hurt too, and like then that was avoidable too had they not like let him go to free agency, or like like negotiated with him in good faith, like, and they just didn't. And so here we are. This could have been avoided with one little simple communications that could have possibly changed, and we could have not been in the spot. But I mean, here we are, and life goes on. The Giants do play tomorrow. They had an off day today, but they do play tomorrow at 8:45 our time against the Guards. They have a 3-game with the Guards, and then there's obviously 3 games against Boston. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting series to see how this goes.
I'm already seeing like him hitting a freaking moon bomb. I'm predicting. I don't know off of who, off where to, how far is it gonna go. I know it's gonna go to that damn freaking cove. People are gonna be swimming for that ball. I'm calling it here on Cardboard Dugout. Dude's gonna hit an absolute moon bomb. But yeah. Final thoughts on him. I will always love Rafi. I don't think anybody's gonna say or turn anything against it. Appreciative of the time that he was here. I showed off on my TikTok all the cards that I have of him, my PC cards of active Red Sox players. So, I time will tell what happens as more stories come out, things of that nature come out, and it will be interesting to see what he says on coming tomorrow. And yeah, we're still going to be watching. We're as frustrated as we are with this team and with ownership and this management. We'll still be here. We'll still be watching. Unfortunately, win or lose, we'll still be here watching, and we'll be talking about it here if it's on the pod or somewhere else. But this could be the last episode of Cardboard Dugout. RIP 2024, 2025. This could be the last episode. So RIP to Cardboard Dugout. I did also want to put fucking Tops. I feel like they know me and like put out that freaking Tops Now card on purpose. And knowing my ass and knowing them, if I was to buy that one, they'll send me a fucking parallel. I just know it. Michael Rubin, whoever runs Tops these days, and Michael Rubin and Fanatics, knowing them, if I was to buy one, if I was a man enough to buy one, which I'm not gonna buy one of those. Knowing them, they're like, what, this dude's having a hard time.
Fuck that.
We'll send him a parallel. My first Giants auto.
You sent me that card. I was like, screw that card. Fuck that.
My first Giants auto. My ass.
Yeah, it's last thing I have too. Is just like it's so crazy to think that like the last three of our big superstars are all in the NL West. Like it's just they're all going to be battling it out for the next 10+ years against each other. Like it's so crazy. Can't believe it. But here we are.
And we get to see Rafael Devers hitting Coors Field. I'm pretty sure that dude's going to be hitting some fucking mammoth home runs there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
Balls will be going to the freaking moon in that ballpark with him being there. But, yeah, that's all we had here. Don't know when the hell we'll be back. Maybe never. You'll find us. We will be back in some sort of fashion. We'll be on the wrestling side. I'm going to be pissed off on that fucking podcast,
Next episode. Oh, yeah. Dude, it was funny because I think it might have been during the quote with Sam Kennedy was talking about the banners and championships. I think at that moment, like that's when fucking Goldberg came out, and I was like, dude, I'm done. Like I can't take this shit anymore. I'm so done. I'm
be pissed off.
Yeah, next episode of Cardboard Dugout, we will be previewing the 2025 MLB playoffs, breaking down the wild card division.
Man. Life is just testing me these days with content. Like, you're all right, you want to go to do wrestling card content, you're going to talk about this bullshit. Oh, my God. I can't escape it. Life is just testing me. You guys are getting the real me. This is it. I don't know anymore. RIP Cardboard Dugout, 2024, 2025. It was nice seeing you. Find us over at Collecting the 123. Find me over on Whatnot doing WWE singles if you're into that good old stuff. But, yeah, that's all I had on my end. Bro Peel, don't know if you got any final thoughts for everybody. I'll open up the floor to you for a little before we officially wrap it up. But any final thoughts here for the listeners as we say farewell on our final episode of Cardboard Dugout?
Oh man, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed my time here. Just give me a follow on Twitter and the good old gram at Dad Who Collects. I'd be posting there. Come find me in my rants, especially with the wrestling starting to piss me off. I don't know. Maybe I might leave Collecting the 123 at this point. I can't handle it anymore. Stay tuned.
Now we're gonna be all elite, my brother.
Oh, that's true. It's funny. I saw a tweet, and it was basically like if Goldberg wins at Saturday Night's Main Event, because now it's for the title. Apparently, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ!
It's for the title.
Yeah, it's for the title.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's
God.
for the title. They're like, what did it say? It said, "Oh, describe in 3 words how you would feel if Goldberg wins." And I was like, "Ooh, my thing would play because like Dad Who Collects is, oh no, is elite." Yeah, I was like, "Fuck yeah, it worked." I was like, "Yeah." I'm saving that. I'm saving that for probably the inevitable. When I feel like where it's going.
I can't.
I don't know.
I can't anymore. I can't. I'm done. That's it.
Leave in the comments what are some hobbies that you guys like. We need to take up a new hobby.
What's a sport that doesn't have a
What's a
card
good
podcast? Soccer.
what's a good maybe golf? Do people like golf? People love golf cards.
Oh, they do. F1. People racing.
It's true.
Hmm.
It's true.
MMA. I always find fucking MMA cards everywhere these days.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't.
I don't think MMA has a real collectability standpoint either.
I don't think so either. I see a lot of their cards, and I'm like, oh, it's a big name fighter, and I look at it, it's like autographed like $50. I'm like, damn, that's it. I feel like it's going for more.
I know. I was like,
oh, they're gonna start doing debut patches though for them now.
I saw that.
Yeah,
maybe
be interesting.
Maybe we'll get into it. All right, guys.
Nah, I don't want to because it's part of TKO.
Oh yeah,
fuck him.
We don't fucking like him. Fuck The Rock. That ball fraud.
That big ass bald headed fraud.
But alrighty, guys. It was nice knowing you. Find us over at Collecting the 123. Maybe not even at this point. Who knows? You can follow me over at Moon3PO, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Whatnot. So for the few niche wrestling fans and baseball fans in there, if you guys want to come hang out and, talk some shop, talk some wrestling, it is primarily a wrestling. Even though last 2 shows ago we did talk a little bit of baseball in there. We had a Red Sox fan in there, so we were talking a little bit of baseball. So if you guys want to come in, hang out, feel free to. Links all over in the description down below. For myself, for Bro PO, Data Collects, all be down in the description down below. But yeah, guys, farewell. It was nice seeing you. We'll maybe see you in October, maybe not. Who knows? If I'm not buried alive 6 feet under, time will tell. But alrighty, guys, nice knowing you, and we will see y'all in the next one. Maybe not. Who knows? It's not Wednesday, so that's my send off. But it's not Wednesday.